Welcome back or welcome in. Today, this is the fourth video of me picking every single game for every single team. If you missed the other three AFC North teams, you can check that out on the channel. But today we're going to be covering the Browns, a team that is supposed to be so bad that if you tossed $100 on them to win the Super Bowl, you would be returned with $32,000 if they were to do it. In other words, they're kind of telling you it's not going to happen. I think that's fairly obvious. But the question is, how good or bad will they do this year? So we're going to go game by game and see what we think. So the Browns are a team that really have no identity at quarterback at the moment. It seems like Joe Flacco might be the starter, but you got like five guys back there. And how do you develop all of them? How do you decide who plays when? How short of a leash do you put guys on? They put themselves in a very interesting situation I don't know that I've seen before. But week one, they will be home against Cincinnati. Maybe a decent draw. Cincinnati struggles early in the year, but I don't think they lose to a Browns team that really has no identity at the moment. I think the Browns go 0-1. And then you look at weeks 2 and 3, it doesn't get any easier. Week 2 on the road in Baltimore, the Ravens will take that one. And week 3 home against Green Bay. You never know here, but I'm going to go ahead and give the Packers that one. 0-3 start for the Browns. And week 4, they are at Detroit. They are not going to win that one. That's an 0-4 start for the Cleveland Browns. And I'm going to be honest, I don't think you could say you were surprised by that, especially when you look at those four teams that they have to square off with in those first four games. Those are four very good playoff caliber, maybe even Super Bowl caliber teams. So 0-4 start. Week 5, at home in overseas, if I'm not mistaken, against Minnesota. And I'll give Cleveland a win here. I really like Minnesota this year. I think they're underrated for a team that went 14-3 last year. But with a rookie quarterback, there will be times, there will be games where you just slip up. That's their second game in a row overseas. I don't know if they're feeling homesick. I don't know what you're going to call it. But I expect Minnesota to win some big games this year, but also maybe lose some games like this one. So give that one to the Browns. And another thing to make note of, the NFL nowadays, no team is bad enough that they can't win any given Sunday. I mean, Browns realistically could win any of these games, but that doesn't mean they will. Week 6 on the road in Pittsburgh. I'm going to go ahead and give that one to the Steelers. Steelers should be pretty solid this year, very similar to how they have been the last few years, but with the addition of Rodgers, so maybe that can bring them a little spark. And week 7, home against the Dolphins. I think the Browns get their second win of the year. I'm not high on the Dolphins this year. There's a lot of question marks for me about them, and especially in their locker room. I don't know how far they'll make it in the year before they implode or Tua gets hurt or whatnot. So I think the Browns, it's a good opportunity to get their second win of the year before they head on the road to New England, where I think the Patriots get the better of them, a Patriots team that should be fairly decent this year. They should be pretty darn competitive, maybe vying for a playoff spot. And then Cleveland gets a much-needed bye as they are sitting at 2-6 heading into that bye. And honestly, I think you'd have to say that's a fairly expected record. That sounds about right in my opinion. The next 2 weeks at New York, not a bad chance to get a win here. The Jets should be below average this year, but I think the Jets just have better roster pieces. Justin Fields has a fairly high ceiling. Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, Sauce Gardner, all that. They still have some solid pieces there, so I'll give that one to the Jets. And then the Ravens, I don't think there's any issues for the Ravens coming into Cleveland. I think they take that one as well. Then you get another one here that's a winnable game on the road. Would be their first technical road win here, and I think they can get it done against the Raiders. The Raiders are one I'm still trying to figure out this year. I think they're a team that has some solid potential, and they can win some games. They have a good coach. Geno Smith is good enough to get some wins, but they're playing in a very, very tough AFC. And overall, the roster is not that complete. I think it's a decent chance for the Browns to get one of their tougher wins of the year as far as like the wins I will have them getting. Then the next week, Week 13 at San Francisco, home against San Francisco. They will be losing to those Niners. And then Week 14, home against Tennessee. The rookie Cam Ward, I think he'll play well this year, but the Titans team leaves a lot to be desired, honestly, and I think it's a good chance for the Browns to get another win. That's their 4th of the season, and that puts them at a 4-9 record with 4 weeks to go. And not the easiest 4-week stretch. They are on the road in Chicago, who should be improved this year. It's hard to say for sure yet what that team's going to be, but it'd be hard to believe they wouldn't be improved. I'm going to go ahead and give that one to the Bears. 2 home games here, home against the Bills. I don't see the Bills dropping one to Cleveland. They don't often have losses like that. Pittsburgh, decent chance for a Cleveland win here, home against the Steelers. You have no idea what shape they're in if Rodgers is healthy. But at the end of the day, I don't think they get this one done. And then they close out the year on the road here, and I think that is yet another loss. 4-13 is my final record prediction for these Cleveland Browns. And this is a team that really, I'm not sure where they go next. I'm not sure what the plan is. You have 5 quarterbacks, right? 4, 5, 6, something like that. And you got to pick. You got to narrow that down. You got to develop the guys you want. You can't be trying to work on all of them. That's an incredibly difficult thing to do. You have to build the confidence of a couple. Otherwise, you're going to end up ruining all of them. So we'll see what their plan is there. Getting rid of the Watson contract, I'm not sure. I'll have to double check when that ends, but that will give them a lot of money to work with in the future. But that's why they're tied up right now. That's why the roster has a lot of below average players at a lot of positions, because they don't have the money to acquire the better players. So they're in a tough spot. And, make the most of it you can this season. But honestly, 4-13 might not be a bad thing for them. They get another high draft pick, and they can continue to build this roster out and hope to compete in future years. Let me know what y'all think.